Hey, what is going on, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be going over the mirror image event for Echo today, and I know that what some of you are thinking, Boilon, how can we do this without seeing the other milestone? And you're kind of right that we are missing a few things, but using past data and with all of the information that we have right now, we can formulate a reasonable expectation of what we're going to need to do for this event, but also understand what we need in order to clear this free to play. And the reason why I say this is because at this point we don't actually know if it will be or not. We just kind of hope that it will. We're gonna start by going over the 15-day milestone, looking at that, and then move over to my spreadsheets because of course I have one for this too. And we'll talk about what we're gonna need to do if you want to get some of those juicy rank rewards. So without further ado, let's get the show on the road. And to start things off here, we're going to take a look at the preview of the mirror image milestone, take a look at what we're getting. What's interesting here is there is a fair bit of Echo Shard. Well, I say a fair bit, it's actually very similar to the Magic event. Surprise, surprise, but there are other stuff in here as well. It's pretty easy to start, but what I want to really start with is looking at the scoring mechanism for this. So how you're going to get points for this milestone, this is the 15-day milestone. This is the main milestone that you're going to be trying to complete via spending imprints, which is the currency. This is just the store currency, not anything else. You get 20 points for this, and then for spending campaign energy and then regular ISO 8 energy as well, you get 10 points for each of those. So when we get to the spreadsheet portion, I have that all listed, basically, you know, what you should expect in terms of the point values for your energy and how you can make up more of this, because as we'll find out, some of the reasons, or some of the only ways that you're going to be able to differentiate yourself from someone else is actually by how much energy you're spending. And it kind of gives me the vibes of like an Icarus event, because if you guys remember, the Icarus event had 2 7-day milestones that had ranking payouts as well. So kind of reminds me of that, and with the Magic event structure in terms of the amount of shards available, which was 150 for Magic. So it's kind of combining two of these events, but it's not so different from them all, which is why we can talk about this here today. But, you know, I just wanted to take a look at the milestones in general. It's pretty basic, I guess, in terms of the rewards. You know, there's some catalyst stuff going on. It's a fair, decent number. It's not terrible. In terms of the Echo Shards, you're getting them typically in multiples of 10, and that does go up a little bit later on as well. You get some Elite 4 credits, you get some gold stuff. The Armory Orbs is actually pretty good, because definitely for my baby account, and even maybe my main account as well, you know, could use some of these Armory Orb fragments. You don't get a lot of them elsewhere in the game. I did a previous video about Armory Orbs. You really don't get a lot. So actually, there's quite a bit here in terms of those rewards. You know, you're getting 5 per threshold here of the Armory 14s. I think, if I'm not mistaken, some of these, it's hard to tell. These are 15s, right? The difference between the 14 and 15 in the picture for me is a bit hard to tell. But in terms of, and there's a lot of Armory Orbs. In order to unlock Echo free to play, you're going to need to get to about milestone 33. And that's assuming that Echo is not in the currency store. Now, there's nothing to suggest that she is in the store, because based on the blog posts that were related to this event, didn't really seem to suggest. If you were to cross-reference some of like the other events that did have them in the store, like Icarus and Lady Deathstrike, they specifically mentioned that, and they did not for this or for Magic. So I'm just going to assume that she's not actually in there, but we'll find out, because I'm going to do a video later on if I need to, after store reset, as an update if whatever I say here for some reason is super wrong. But in order to actually get the 100 shards that you're going to need to unlock Echo, you're going to need to get to milestone 33. You see, you know, quite a few lumps of 20s, but in order to get to the full 100 shards, you do need to get to milestone 33, and that's actually a fair way through. It's 2/3 through the milestone, because the total number of points is 2.4 million. So 1.6 million represents the 100 shard threshold for that. As far as other rewards go, you see like a handful of teal gear, and actually it's quite a bit, which is why it kind of scares me and what makes me wonder whether or not this is actually going to be free to play completable. And I would hope so, because Echo's a war defense character, and who really cares that much about that? I know I'm saying that, and I did it. But, you know, this is a one exception. You guys know that, you know, Young Avengers is what I'm currently working on. But, you know, there is a lot of teal gear here, and it's fairly generous, actually. 40 in the Catalyst, 200 teal ABCs, you know, all of this stuff. It's quite a bit of resources, actually. So that's what it kind of makes me wonder, how easily obtainable is this all going to be? Are we going to be able to complete this? And this is the biggest question that I have. It ends off with an Elite 6 orb, which we've had in the past, but also 40 gold promo credits and that 5 red Mr. Sinister that we just passed, which, he's not really like a huge deal now, but hey, if you don't have it, then that's great. So I also want to talk about the rankings really quick before we look at the spreadsheets. Some of this looks really, really impressive, but don't worry, you are not going to get this. You know, I have to say, most likely anyone watching my videos are not going to be scoring in the top 100 in the world. I just have a feeling that that's the case, because you're going to need to do a lot of spending in real life on offers, especially energy offers. When they come out, inevitably they're going to come, and you're going to need to do that if you want to do it. But, you know, let's entertain the fact that, you know, you could be getting 50 gold orbs if you score in the top 5. Just, I have a feeling, you know, please let me know if someone happens to get anywhere in the top 100. That would be great for you all. You know, there's a decent chunk of gold orbs. Even, I think the top 100 here, that's 20 gold orbs. So, not too bad there. And red stars, which was really shocking. Good thing I didn't spend too many, but I do have a 6 red already. But for those others who really didn't pull much for Echo, then good news. You know, because you don't have to, because at least you're getting some red star orbs here. Sorry, red stars for her. Teal unique orbs. Now, this, as of recording, is not in the store, so I can't share this with you because I don't know what's actually in there. But normally their definition of what a unique is things like miasma, Oz formula, you know, those kind of superior uniques. Because they kind of clarify a little bit, like the Armory 16 orb had mini uniques, not uniques. So there's uniques and mini uniques. So just people are clear about that one as well. What I think that might be possible, though, is top 1 to 5% and top 6 to 10%. We're going to talk about that more when we actually get to the spreadsheet numbers, because like I said before, what's going to differentiate you between your competitors is really going to come down to how much energy you spend. So kind of think of the endless energy event for Icarus, because that's really what it's going to come down to, because there's going to be a finite number of currency available, I think, for the imprint currency. So the only way to get more score here is really going to be through the energy. So I just wanted to go over that. Pretty neat that they included the red stars. Hopefully that might continue into the future if they do this for other characters. That would be kind of neat, but I guess we didn't really know beforehand, did we? So this, you know, for some people who could have not pulled red stars for this character, they didn't know that this was going to show up. So that's a little bit unfortunate there. But, you know, let's hop on over to the spreadsheets and we're going to talk about some numbers. Okay, so here we are with the Mirror Image Milestone Echo event. We know that it's a 15-day milestone. We also know that the total points required to complete this milestone is 2.4 million. So keep that in mind when we talk about some of the things below. We also know the point structure. So spending one currency or imprint is going to get you 20 points, and then each of the energies are going to give you 10 points. So we'll find out why this is important. In terms of the available campaign energy daily, and I should have added that in, but you know I'm saying that, so daily. This is your free energy. This is your time-based energy that you're getting, you know, every hour, you know, for 24 hours a day. And this is 88, sorry. Your free refreshes. This happens 3 times a day, and this varies depending on your time zone and all of that. You're going to get 80 of that 3 times a day, and that's going to give you 240. Now, I put here cores because this is like a potential total. For those who are more free to play, but, you know, typically do core for energies, you know, I would say I'm putting 480 because I think that's a reasonable amount. That's 50 times 4. This is very similar to event campaign, you know, kind of coring, that kind of stuff. So if you're doing it for this event, then that gives you 480 additional energy, which gives you a grand total, or a potential total here, of 1,008. Yeah, no, very specific there, or 1,000 if you want to round down. So what that means is that we can kind of figure out how much that actually equates into points. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about available ISO 8 energy. So it's a little bit different because the free energy that's available, the time is weird, right? It's like 1 per 4 minutes, not 1 per 5 minutes. So inevitably, you're actually getting 360 per day rather than 288. You're also getting 240 again from the free refreshes. Now, I've included the free daily refresh. These are the packs that you get for the energy, but this is because I don't find that a lot of people actually actively core for ISO 8 energy, and I don't typically recommend it. So this gives me a potential total of about 720 daily, but do know that you could get an additional 480 if you wanted to core more. It's just, I think that the campaign energy is probably worth your cores more, but you could, if you're really wanting to push the envelope here, you know, you could do 200 on both ends, so that would be 400 daily cores, but that is a lot. So I didn't include it for the calculations for this. I just kind of did it 1008 and then 720. But there is room if you want to core more for your ISO 8 energy. Actually, sorry, it would only be 150 more cores because that free pack refresh actually counts as one of your kind of core refreshes. So you can only actually do 3 more on top of that. So it would be an additional 360 energy on top of this number here if you want to do that, just to keep in mind. But for this, we're not. So that gives us a total energy from both of 1728. Now we can times that by 10 points because that's what it's worth, and that gives us a value of what it's going to be worth as daily milestone points, and that's about 17,280, or you can just add 2 zeros at the end of that. And now if you multiply that by 15 days, because it is a 15-day event, that gives us pretty close to about 259,000 points. Now, as a proportion of that 2.4 million, it's actually worth about 10.8%. Not a lot. So that's just solely from your energy spending. That's what it's valued at compared to the total milestone. So, you know, where is the rest of it coming from? Well, it's coming from the other milestone that we've yet to see, which is the Fighting Spirit milestone that is going to be 3 days, 5 times over the 15 days. And so that leaves us with this much points left. Yeah, it's a weird number because I 2.14 million basically. But that's how much milestone points are going to be left based on the above energy spending. So we can also divide this by 20, and this gives us the total amount of imprint currency that we need to actually get to that many points, because it's 20 points per imprint currency. So you need 107,000 imprint currency to spend in the store in order to get the required milestone points to get there. So we don't have all of the numbers available. However, we do know that based on previous events, such as the Magic event more recently, what those kind of points were worth in terms of currency. So we know that we're getting points via Raid Daily Objective, Arena Daily Objective, and the RTA Daily Objective, because that was mentioned in the blog post. I'm not going to bring it up again, but it's there if you want to check it over. And so for the Magic event, this was given the following points: 400 for Raids, 300 for Arena, 100 for RTA, with a subtotal of 800. So that's for the daily. Now, if you multiply that over 15 days, that gives you about 12,000 imprint currencies. Well, again, you know, comparatively to the 107,000 that's left, it's like less than 10%. I didn't do the math. We could actually do that, but it doesn't really matter too much. It's this divided by that in a percent form. Oh, maybe it's a little bit more, actually. My bad. 11.2%. So that's how much it's actually worth as a percentage of what's left to get. So that still leaves us, though, with about 95,000 imprint currency that we need to get. And so what is left after all of that? The only thing that's left is the Fighting Spirit milestone. So imprints required per Fighting Spirit milestone, I've divided it by 5. This by 5 because there's going to be 5 of these milestones every 3 days. So that means that each of these milestones have to be worth about 19,000 imprint currency. If it's not, then this event is not clearable free to play. Now, I can't say whether or not it will be or not because we haven't seen it, and this will be something that I'll need to update if something goes terribly wrong and, you know, we get screwed. And it wouldn't be the first time. You know, this kind of gives me flashbacks of Thanos giving a little bit. I hope it's not as bad as that. I hope it's not that at all, frankly. But, you know, just do caution yourself that something like that could happen. Let's talk about the rank rewards. So this is kind of a mixture of the Icarus event, like I mentioned before. And for that one, in order to score the top 4 to 10% of the Endless Energy milestone, which it was called, the average was about 6,600 campaign energy over 7 days. Now this is a 15-day event, but this equates to about 943 campaign energy daily. Now, if you remember what I said above here about the potential total of 1,008, if you're doing 4 core refreshes a day, then that's more than enough to get to the 4 to 10% range. If you're trying to get some of those rankings that was, 1 to 4%, and then it was, or 1 to 5 maybe, you know, then maybe you might need to do a little bit more coring, both in the campaign energy and the ISO 8 energy as well, because now it's including both, not just campaign energy, but also ISO 8 campaign energy as well. So if something better than the 10%, if you really want to get that 1 to 5% rather than the 6 to 10%, you might need to push cores beyond what I'm listing here. And keep that in mind. So if you're someone who wants to aim for that, then you're probably looking at 400 cores daily at least. Is that worth it for you? You'll have to figure that out based on the rewards that are there. I don't think I will, personally. I think that I'll probably just do... I might do like 100 core refresh on the campaign energy because that's more valuable there. But for the ISO 8, I don't think I'm really going to put in a lot of coring there. So I just wanted to raise that as well. Some of the notes that I have to say about this whole event, the only way to rank higher, I just mentioned this a little bit, that will be solely through energy spending. So for others who want to kind of pay to push themselves further, this is going to involve, you know, the offers that are going to be energy based, that you're going to want to buy those. If you're someone who lightly spends, maybe there'll be some good deals. I don't know, but this is going to be the only way that you're going to be able to get ahead, is largely through the energy spending. The imprint currency will be finite. this means that there will be an upper cap to how much can be accumulated. So once the milestone, the Fighting Spirit milestone, is clear, then there won't be any more Fighting Spirit, any more imprint currency. So we don't know how much that's going to be, but we know that it needs to be at least around 19,000 if we want to clear the entire 15-day milestone of the mirror image completely free to play. Otherwise, it's dipping into pay-to-win territory at that point, probably. So this also, you get these via daily objectives, and the Fighting Spirit milestone, which I mentioned, is 5 3-day milestones. And this is a blitz-only milestone, so the only way that you can complete the Fighting Spirit milestone is solely through blitzing. And, you know, I raised that during the blog post when we had it, is blitz only. So blitz wins, presumably, because we haven't seen the points, but I'm assuming it's just through blitz wins. So what that means is maximizing your blitz wins. And unfortunately, this is coming at a time where the Star-Lord T'Challa blitz is running. So even though it's all about blitz wins, if you're blitzing hard for T'Challa, you also want the points. So this is the first time there's been a new character blitz. Well, it's been a long time since there's been a new character blitz during something like this. Normally, what I would recommend is people to tier down a couple of times, you know, maybe, and just do sheer blitz wins at a lower tier, and that's easier. But if you're trying to balance the points as well, this is going to be challenging, and I don't have a lot of suggestions there. You might have to decide, depending on how many rotations that you need to do for this event, what's more important to you, the blitz points for T'Challa, or actually getting the blitz wins for this, you know, and both of those can come hand in hand, but you may get a little bit of less depending on what strategy that you take. So, like I said, in order to complete this free to play, I said 105k, but this was previous to, I mean, that would be great. Actually, I need to change that, sorry, to 95. I don't know why I said 100 and, I can't do it. It's not letting me click on this for some reason. Okay, this 105k should be 95k based on what I had up here. So my apologies. Probably because I was considering this rather than this down here, so just keep that in mind. So the questions that I have left for this event: will there be shards in the store, or just teal, orange, and purple gear? We don't know. You know, will blitz wins give imprints? We don't know that either. I don't think it will, but in the past, for these sorts of events with stores, there has been times where sim wins for blitz has resulted in 22 currency. But not specifically for an event like this. I think it was more for different styles of events. If you guys remember I think it was the As Seen on TV event for the Ultron costume, and some other events in the past that that just mainly used blitz winning. The blog did not suggest that this would be the case for either, but we'll see. And if you do get imprints, it's so weird saying that. If you do get imprints from blitz wins, then this will be easier to achieve, depending on how many imprints are available in the Fighting Spirit milestone. So that's kind of where we are now. And if things go absolutely crazy and things are nowhere near what I said for whatever reason, I'm fairly confident in my assessments. But if it's not, for whatever reason, I will be doing an update video post store reset, so keep an eye out for that. And hopefully that some of this helped to kind of educate you all on what you need to do for this event, and kind of the expectations around it as well, in terms of like what you should expect, in terms of energy spending. If you want to get some of those higher rankings, then you're going to need to spend a little bit more than this, probably, if you want to do in the top kind of rankings, like 1 to 5%. If you're happy with top 10 to 10%, you can probably just get away with doing this stuff here. So that's everything for me. Hopefully you guys enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Echo event, and until next bombshell, or that I have to come back on here, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon, signing out.